I have some great news for you if you are looking to buy a home. The housing market is starting to crack. Sellers are cutting prices at record level.
So how's the market?
The market has slowed down quite a bit. My team sales a little bit down, about 10-15%. A lot of sellers are giving really good incentives for buyers to purchase their homes.
So many sellers in the US are doing huge price cut. As a matter of fact, Zillow is actually saying that the housing market is quickly cooling down. And that's because sellers are now cutting home prices at a very high rate. Check this out. That's why in this video, I will tell you the 10 cities where home prices are falling the fastest right now. So you are watching the Financial Coffee channel? Let's get into this. Over the next coming months, home prices will get a lot cheaper. Like Boise in Idaho, our number 10 area where sellers are cutting home prices right now. Remember, this was the housing market that crashed first. The downturn started 2 years ago in 2021 and is still ongoing as of today. Take for instance, the seller on this listing is doing a $45,000 price cut to a price less than what this house was worth in March 2021. And this crash in Boise will continue to get worse because home prices across the metro are still way too expensive. Home value in Boise are about 43% overvalue, and you can see this overvaluation. Boise has declined over the last couple of years as prices have dropped. But to be honest with you, it's still too high and suggests the price will fall even more, especially now that the remote workers are getting called back into the office, with Redfin reporting that 1 in 10 home sellers are moving because they are being called back into the office. There is even this real estate agent in Boise that has 2 clients who are selling their home after only 1 year. The agent even said that this seller will have to make $100,000 loss on their house. But you know what? It's not only in Boise where stuff like that is happening. It's also happening in the number 9 housing market where sellers are cutting the price the most right now. Dallas, Texas. Now Dallas is really interesting. It might be America's strongest economy, but Dallas is one of America's weakest housing market right now. 33% of the sellers in Dallas last month were cutting the prices on their listing.
And today we're heading to Dallas, Texas, number 4 on Zillow's top 100 metro areas by size. From last year, sales are also down about 16%. Here to tell us what it's like on the ground is Daniel Hunt. He's a realtor with Keller Williams. Daniel, welcome to Power Lunch.
Thank you for having me, Kelly.
So how's the market?
The market has slowed down quite a bit. Me and my team sales a little bit down, about 10-15%. So it is a little bit slower of a business.
You seem to be painting a very, very different picture, one where sellers are having to really put out to help buyers get in the house.
It is more right now of a buyer's market. Sellers are, I'm seeing a lot of different programs from assumable mortgages where people are assuming the mortgages, a lot more owner financing, seller financing options.
Take a look at this historical decline in median home prices in Dallas, according to Rocket Mortgage, from December 2022 to October 2023, from almost $400,000 to $159,000 in October. Look at how housing prices have gone down in less than 1 year in Dallas. That means there are a lot of homes for sale across the Dallas metro area. For example, look at this beautiful 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom houses for $290,000. These houses have seen several price cuts. In August, it was listed for $350,000. Then, less than 2 weeks later, it was cut down to $319,000. Now, it is selling for $285,000. They cut the price by $65,000 in less than 3 months. That's an 18.6% decrease. And there are definitely more price cuts to come. Quick price drops are also a big feature in our number 8 city, where home prices are dropping fast right now. This is an area in Florida where so many people flocked to during the pandemic. It was a boom town over the last 2 years, but now things are really slowing down in Sarasota. Sarasota is a city located about 4 hours northwest of Miami. It has seen a big increase in home inventory, which has almost doubled over the last year or so. Home for sale have gone up 30%, and that higher inventory, combined with declining demand, is causing sellers across Sarasota to panic. Like on this listing where they did a $61,000 price cut on this house in less than 3 weeks, but the house is still languishing on the market. And these price cuts in Sarasota and in Florida in general are going to continue toward the end of this year and well into 2024. We are seeing a big downturn in home buyer demand across the state of Florida. Now that the pandemic is over especially because mortgage rates have reached historically high levels. And this is starting to have a negative impact on a lot of different housing markets, particularly in our number 7 city where sellers are drastically cutting prices right now, SEVIERVILLE, Tennessee. Now, I understand that some of you are probably saying, where the hell is SEVIERVILLE, Tennessee? Well, SEVIERVILLE is a mountain town in eastern Tennessee. It's about 3 hours east of Nashville, Tennessee, where you can see that a lot of sellers are drastically cutting prices right now. 35% cut rate, which is now the highest price cut share on record. And why are sellers cutting the price in SEVIERVILLE? 2 words: Airbnb owners. A lot of them are desperate to get out of the market, simply because they are not making any money. Like on these 2 listings, this one has a $70,000 price cut, and this other one has a $100,000 rejection. And that's not all. Since this house was put up for sale in June, the price has been cut down by $200,000. That's the price of another home. There are so many cities where there is a big collapse in Airbnb revenue. And the slowdown in the Airbnb market is also having an impact on the number 6 housing market where home prices are falling right now. It's also an area in the state of Tennessee that heavily relies on tourism to boost its economy. I'm talking about Nashville, with data showing that Airbnb revenue are down 10% in Nashville over the last year. That decline in Airbnb revenue is pushing some people to sell right now. In a lot of different pockets around the Nashville metropolis in particular, we can see that sellers are getting very aggressive in cutting prices. Now, however, the downturn in Nashville is not contained to areas where there are a lot of Airbnbs. We are also seeing this in plenty other areas. Take this house for example. This house got a 32% price cut from September to October, which means a $200,000 price cut. It is insane. So expect prices to continue to drop, especially in our number 5 city that is getting hit with a big wave of seller price cut, Phoenix, Arizona. Now, Phoenix is a very interesting housing market. It was one of the first cities to crash last year when the downturn started. However, Phoenix has a little recovery to start 2023. So the prices stopped going down in Phoenix, and they actually started going up a little due to a lower inventory. But we are now seeing the market shift back to a downturn. A lot of desperate sellers in Phoenix, particularly investors in the long-term rental and Airbnbs who can find any tenants, and they are now finally throwing the towel. And the new listings are beginning to increase again, with the price cut also increasing again. And we are seeing these price cuts almost acute in the southeastern part of Phoenix, going towards southern Scottsdale. Like on this house, where there have been a $67,000 price cut. There is a similar downward pricing pressure happening in our number 4 city where sellers are cutting the price right now, San Antonio, Texas. That's right, everyone, that's where I live. And it's another city in the southwest where the housing downturn is really accelerating, with the primary issue for sellers in San Antonio housing market being too much competition on new listing in inventory. With almost 10,000 homes in San Antonio now available for sale, up from almost $7,000 a few months ago. That's a figure which has doubled from the lows that occurred during the pandemic. Check out this new construction house with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Zillow says that it's been on the market for over 7 months. The price fell from $413,000 to $365,000 in one single month. That's a $48,000 value loss. Take a look at the price history. In only one single month, it has seen a $65,000 price cut. That's how crazy it is. Now let me share with you something very important to remember. If you are a home buyer or an investor trying to figure out where will be the right time to buy in your market, I'm about to reveal you a secret that you can use. Just look at the house inventory levels. If the inventory is high, you are lucky, because high inventory means high supply, which also means lower prices. It's just basic economics, right? At this time, we are getting close to the long-term average, so that's a signal that prices could enter a free fall mode. Now, our number 3 housing market where prices are dropping right now is another city where the inventory has exploded over the last couple of years. The inventory in Pensacola, Florida has really surged, which is now putting a downward pressure on prices. Now, Pensacola is a military town on the Florida Panhandle with some of the nicest beaches in the world. A lot of sellers have cut the price in the most recent months. And what we are seeing in Pensacola is plenty of houses have been lingering on the market for sale for months. And this has been happening over the last few months in the US. For example, check out this 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house that was listed for sale for $1.2 million in July. Then in September, it went down to $979,000. Now it's on sale for less than $900,000. That's more than $300,000 loss in value. More broadly, Too many of these sellers over the last year decided to list the house way too high. The price was just outrageous. They got greedy, and as a result, now that the demand has fallen, they are left with no buyers and having to cut the price like on this listing I just mentioned. Everywhere on our list, prices have gone down so much, particularly on number 2 cities where sellers are cutting the price right now. The San Francisco Bay Area. This is the first housing market where we have seen prices go down so much that a lot of owners are selling at a big loss. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom for almost $700,000. It's still a ridiculous price, but this is what I wanted to pay attention to. The price of this house was cut by $149,000 in 1 month, from $848,000 to less than $700,000 in 30 days. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand why home prices in San Francisco are going down here. Number 1, they are just way too expensive. The typical value across the metro is over $1 million, $1 million, and that alone is a non-starter for the vast majority of households. Also, lots of retail stores are closing down. So many companies are laying off workers. Office vacancy rates are surging across the city. These are just all types of issues with San Francisco housing market, which are going to continue in the future. The housing market does not look good at all in our number 1 city where prices are dropping fast right now. Lot of people in this city bought in the last 2 years. And they were thinking that, oh, this is a great place to buy. And now these people are losing tons of money. We are talking about Austin, Texas, where an astounding 46% of sellers cut their price in the most recent months. But despite this decline in home prices, Austin homes are still 28% over value. And we still have a long way to go before local home buyers in Austin can afford the prices and mortgage payments, which means that this market will continue to crash in the future. Now, if you want to know the top 10 cities where you can buy cheap houses for less than $100,000, click on the video that appears on the screen right now. That is all for today. Thank you for watching the Financial Coffee channel, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.